Picture this: a bank heist that doesn't involve guns, hostages, or a dramatic police chase. Instead, it involves a pen, a pile of fraudulent documents, and an audacious plan. Welcome to the Trinidad bank heist, a scandal that shook the Caribbean to its core, involving a sum well over $100 million. The official figure of $27 million only serving to placate shareholders and maintain confidence in the bank. The main orchestrator behind this intricate web of deceit, a man known only by his initials, JJ, a notorious figure in the underworld, with ties dating back to the 90s with infamous figures like Dolce D and the Ramia brothers. The plan was elegantly simple, yet devilishly clever. The bank was defrauded through synthetic loans issued to third parties, supposedly on behalf of JJ. These loans were then funneled into nefarious investments, with the profits being used to repay the very loans that funded them. The operation began with a modest $1 million, but soon the stakes were raised. $2 million, $10 million, and so on, until they cleared the $100 million mark 2 years later. To circumvent the bank's lending limits, a scheme was devised to represent the loans as high-end vehicle financing. A team worked tirelessly in the shadows, producing bank statements, job letters, and IDs, all eerily similar to the real thing. They even had an insider in the credit union department to manipulate credit scores, ensuring applicants had scores of 700 or above, thus qualifying for the maximum loan amount. Just like that, the first million was gone. But this was only the beginning. As the stakes got higher, the operation became more intricate. This was not just a one-time heist, but a well-oiled machine of deception, constantly evolving, constantly growing. What started as a single $1 million operation quickly escalated. With each successful heist, the hunger for more intensified. From 1 million to 2 million, then 10, and so on until the operation cleared the staggering 100 million mark, all in the span of approximately 2 years. Now, you might be wondering, how did they manage to lift such vast amounts without raising any red flags? Well, the answer lies in the clever ruse of vehicle financing. An applicant would saunter into the bank with their impeccable credit score and documents, apply for a large sum car loan to purchase a high-end vehicle, and just like that, they'd walk out with a hefty check in hand. The twist? The car dealerships were in on the game. They were recruited to act as the dealerships selling these high-end vehicles. The dealers would take their 10% cut from the million for facilitating the fictitious sale, and the remaining 90% would flow right back into the hands of the operation's masterminds. But where did the money go? Here's where things take a darker turn. The funds from these synthetic loans were channeled into a variety of nefarious activities, trafficking guns, drugs, and even humans through Trinidad, Venezuela, Barbados, and the Bahamas. And the bank? Oblivious. As far as they were concerned, these were legitimate loans being repaid on time. Arguably, they were even reaping benefits as the principal and interest on these loans were promptly settled. The operation was a masterpiece of deception. Each cog in the machine played its part to perfection, creating a seamless illusion of legitimacy. The bank, unbeknownst to them, had become a crucial component in this extensive operation. And so, the bank unknowingly became an accomplice in a scheme of unimaginable proportions. While the bank's ledger balanced perfectly, the culprits were reaping the rewards of their audacious plan. They were living the high life, luxuriating in the fruits of their deceit, seemingly untouchable. Their profits were not just tucked away in some offshore account. No, they were invested back into their operation, further fueling their decadent lifestyles and illicit ventures. One of the key figures, RG, was a prime example of this extravagance. He purchased a home in one of Trinidad's upscale neighborhoods, a $3 million investment built from the ground up in just 2 years, a symbol of his success, a testament to his cunning. But RG wasn't the only one enjoying the spoils. All the defendants listed were able to build their houses from scratch within the same time frame. From the outside, they were successful businessmen living the dream. Their lavish lifestyles were a beacon, drawing envy from those who looked on, oblivious to the dark underbelly of their fortune. And as their wealth grew, so did their ambition. RG and another accomplice, DR, further expanded their operation by purchasing a nightclub in Chaguanas for $5 million. Named Tipsy's, it was reputed for its wild all-night parties, fueled by cocaine and Venezuelan prostitutes. It was a playground for the rich and the reckless, a place where the law turned a blind eye, courtesy of well-placed bribes to the local police. The money from their audacious scheme was not just spent on luxury homes and businesses. It was laundered through used car dealerships, trafficked through various countries, and used to fund a life most can only dream of. They had effectively created a self-sustaining operation, an empire built on deceit and betrayal. They were living the high life, but as with all things, the truth was bound to surface. The illusion of success was just that, an illusion. Beneath the glitz and glamour lay a web of lies, ready to unravel at the slightest misstep. But for now, they reveled in their ill-gotten gains, oblivious to the storm that was brewing on the horizon. In an operation of this magnitude, it wasn't the law that posed the greatest threat, but human nature. A well-oiled machine of deception and deceit, it seemed the Trinidad bank heist was too good to fail. However, as the money flowed freely, so did the seeds of discord. Jealousy and envy began to creep in, gnawing at the bonds that held the group together. The lavish lifestyles they flaunted, a testament to their ill-gotten gains, became a source of contention. The grand houses, the wild parties, the upscale neighborhood, all served to fuel a growing resentment. The old adage rang true: more money, more problems. What was once a united front began to fracture, the cracks widening with each passing day. And while the group was distracted, battling their own internal demons, the first signs of suspicion began to surface. The bank, initially oblivious to the elaborate scheme, started noticing discrepancies. High-end vehicle financing loans were alarmingly frequent. The same car dealerships kept appearing in transactions, and the same individuals were repeatedly approved for maximum loan amounts. The bank's initial discovery of the fraud was like a pebble creating ripples in a still pond. A small, innocuous inconsistency led to a deeper investigation. They traced the money trail, followed the breadcrumbs left behind by the group. The synthetic loans, the falsified documents, the altered credit scores, all under scrutiny. The bank's confidence was shaken, the board members stunned at the audacity of the scheme. The group was blindsided. They were so embroiled in their internal conflicts, so consumed by their greed, that they failed to notice the net slowly closing around them. The bank was onto them, their scheme unraveling thread by thread. The walls were starting to close in, and the heist was on the brink of exposure. The group, once so confident in their invincibility, was left scrambling. Their downfall was imminent, their empire of deceit teetering on the brink of collapse. In the end, it wasn't the law or the bank that brought down the operation. It was their own greed. As the saying goes, pride comes before a fall. And for the architects of the Trinidad bank heist, this adage held true. Their audacious plan, which had run so smoothly for over 2 years, began to falter, not due to the meticulous investigations of law enforcement or the vigilance of the bank, but rather due to their own insatiable appetites for wealth and power. The first cracks in the operation appeared when jealousy began to stir within the ranks. The lavish lifestyles, the flashy cars, the opulent houses, it was all too much. The once united front began to fracture as envy and greed took hold. It was only a matter of time before the entire operation came crashing down. When the downfall came, it was swift and brutal. The heist was exposed, the culprits were arrested, and the intricate web of deceit they had woven was unraveled for the world to see. The scale of the embezzlement was staggering, with estimates placing the total amount stolen well above $100 million. The audacity of the scheme left the public reeling, shaking their trust in the banking institution to its very core. But perhaps the most shocking revelation was the sheer breadth of the operation. It wasn't just a simple case of bank fraud. This was a sprawling criminal network that spanned multiple countries and involved gun trafficking, drug smuggling, and human trafficking. The fallout from the heist was felt far beyond the shores of Trinidad, with repercussions rippling throughout the Caribbean. The culprits were brought to justice, their ill-gotten gains seized, and their lives of luxury abruptly ended. The Trinidad bank heist served as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the corrosive power of greed. The Trinidad bank heist was a testament to the audacity of the human spirit, a reminder that not all heists involve a mask and a gun. Sometimes all it takes is a pen, a pile of fraudulent documents.